Okay, so I wanted to show you how to use Tracker. First, I'm going to run Tracker. This is the icon right here. It says Tracker. Okay. So Tracker's free. It's made by a guy up in Santa Cruz who teaches physics at Cabrillo College. Alright. So this is where I'm going to put the video from today. I'll put movie 1 and I'll just drag it right there and it'll load it onto the main view. Okay, should show up there any minute now, and there it is. And then I'll make my screen large, and you notice this is the same video I did with the video analysis in class, and I just want to show you the auto tracker in particular is like really cool. I'm trying to figure out what you do first, so I'm just going to kind of look around here, look at the different menus. Okay. Alright. Track. Okay. And I think I click on create. I think. Yeah. And I want to create a point mass because we're using a particle model to represent our object, and so essentially our object is called a point mass. Okay. So I've told Tracker that I'm going to be tracking an object as a particle, basically. Tracker just calls it a point mass. And then I'm going to look for something in the screen that I can use. Okay, wait, this is show or hide coordinate axes. So I think I'm going to want my coordinate axes to be right here. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to hide that now. Now I'm going to use this. This is called your, I think, calibration stick. New calibration stick, that's what it is. And then I'm going to drag my calibration stick from here over to here. And I'm going to do something I didn't do before. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'll go to 200, let's say. Okay, and I should be able to see on the calibration stick the pixels. Now that side looks pretty good. I could zoom in even further. Okay, let's go to 400 and then I'll go to here and maybe I'll move this just ever so slightly to the right. Okay, and then I'll go to the other side of the meter stick and make sure that side looks good. Looks like that's a little too long, so I'll really try to get this calibration stick set correctly, and then I'll go back to 100%. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Here's the cool part. This button here is called the auto tracker, and this is why oh, the calibration stick, it was 1 meter, not 100. Okay, and I can hide my calibration stick now, I believe. Yeah, that makes it disappear. Okay, so now I'm going to use this button, which is basically show or hide the auto tracker. So I click on it, and it tells you what to do. To create a new keyframe, Shift, Control, click. So I'm going to press Shift, and you'll watch the mouse change Control. So let's just see if we can track this. And what you want is a unique pattern of pixels that Tracker can track. And you just have to try things by trial and error, you know. I'm going to try this for a first time around. And I'm not tracking my calibration stick, I'm tracking my mass. So I got to try that again. Shift, Control, click. So let's try that again. And then my template that it's going to try to match is this. So the match is going to be like what it sees on the screen. I know that auto tracker is going to run into a problem here. Okay, I just know that's going to happen because it's going to get to the edge of this whiteboard. But let's just see. So I'm going to move this over here. I can watch my graph being created at the same time. And if the auto tracker runs into an issue, it'll just stop and ask me what to do. Okay, I'm going to hit search, and let's see if it can do it. Okay, let's see if it can track this thing. Okay, it looks like it's doing pretty good so far. The object hasn't even moved yet. Just kind of sit back and watch and make sure the data makes sense. Now, The object still hasn't started moving. Now it's moving. So now we're actually getting some data with the motion of the car. And I'm looking at the auto tracker, and it's just following perfectly exactly what we wanted. You can see this beautiful graph, beautiful curve. All right, so there it is. It's tracking the object. I'm expecting it to run into a problem when it gets to the edge of the whiteboard. Now I'm going to have a choice here to accept or skip. But it's just matching the pixels, and it looks like it made it past the whiteboard. That's the only part I was sort of worried about. So it's still tracking that object. You can see over here the match and the template that it's matching to. Really cool software. I mean, look at all the data I'm getting. Pretty amazing. Never ceases to amaze me. Something simple like this object, you're getting hundreds of data points. I mean, you're getting really a data point from every frame. And you really get a sense for how beautiful this curve is. You're sampling every 30th of a second if it's just a typical digital video. And it looks like it'll run out soon. I've got more than enough data by far here. So now it's out of screen, out of the video almost. It's still getting data. I must be, maybe I can scroll over so I can see it. No, I can't. There we go. It worked. I scrolled over. So it's still working, still doing it. And I've got this amazing curve in front of me. Wow. Just check out that beautiful curve. And I think I'm totally done here. I don't need more data. So I'm just going to say stop. This is fine. Okay, close this. And this data here, the Y data means nothing because the object didn't move in the Y direction. It's only the time and X position that I want. So now I can always take this, copy this data, okay? And this is what I tend to do with Tracker. Tracker collects data for me, and then I like to use LoggerPro. So I highlighted the time and position column, and then I pressed Command C for copy. Okay. And now I'm going to go to LoggerPro and see if I can just paste this data in. Because LoggerPro is just a lot simpler to work with for graphing. So again, I'm just copying the data from Tracker to LoggerPro. Looks like my computer's running a little bit slow, but there it goes. So I'm clicking on that first cell right here, and then I'll try Apple V, and let's see if it writes down all that data for me, and it does. Beautiful. I'm actually very happy with this. So time is the first column, I think. Let me just check. Yeah. So then, like, I don't know if I go up to the top on this data. I'm just going to make sure I label these correctly. I don't want to get them backwards. Look at all this data. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. This is all data here. So time was the first column. So now I can go to LoggerPro and I can label this one time. That's what this column here is. I don't know why I have a black thing there. Okay, good. So name would be time, T, and it's in seconds. Maybe I'll just label the whole word. And I'll click done. And then for the other column, that must be position, right? So I double click. I'm just double clicking here in order to label my variable. Then I want a short name for my variable. So for position, and then I use the tab button, like I'm pressing tab button now to label these things. So the tab button, I'm going to use X as my symbol, and then the units I used was meters, and then I'll hit done. Okay, and now I can observe my graph. I can make it a full screen graph pretty easy. I think control click on the graph, if I remember right. Yeah, auto scale from 0 is usually a good choice. And wow, that data is just like incredible. So there it is. That's how you use the auto tracker. Feel free to play around with it. And actually, this is how you use tracker in conjunction with LoggerPro. Then you would just go File, Save As. Okay. And then I'll call this, what is this? Fan cart using tracker. Okay. So I'll give it a name and save it to the desktop. Fan cart tracker. Okay. And just by convention, I like to save stuff to the desktop, and then later throughout the year, I'll dump everything on the desktop in the trash. So it's a nice way to back up your stuff, and then eventually we'll empty the trash, but you know, this isn't a huge file size. Tracker is pretty complicated the way it saves files, so I would not recommend saving the tracker file. I would again use tracker to collect my data, and then use LoggerPro to transfer files and move them around. And fan cart tracker, and then I also used LoggerPro to graph. So I used tracker in conjunction with LoggerPro. And then I'll hit save. Now, you want to bring USB drives to class so that if you end up on a computer that won't access drive, you can save your work. So you can just drag this. I could just drag this to my flash drive. So let's see, where's the file? Somewhere here, fan cart LoggerPro tracker. So I can just drag this file. Notice it ends with .cmbl. As long as it ends with that, if a computer has tracker and has LoggerPro installed, you can just double click on the file and the computer operating system will know that LoggerPro is the software to use with any .cmbl file, and you can reopen it from drive or from your flash drive or whatever you want. It should work fine. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy using tracker. I think it's pretty cool.